Derek here with Underpar Golf Muskegon, and more often than not we get a lot of questions that are asked about how do I set up with my driver. So the driver setup is slightly different than what we would see with an iron. So I want to go through that with you today and what it might look like. When we set up with the driver, there's a couple things that we want to keep in mind. We want to keep in mind the ball position of where it's placed in the stance, and we also want to make sure that we identify how high to tee the golf ball. Make sure that it's at a consistent height every time that we tee it up. There's also some body movement stuff that we're going to look at that helps out to get the ball up in the air. So ideally with a driver, we're looking to get a little bit more distance and a little bit more height with it, because a typical driver has about 9, 10, or 11 degrees aloft. So when you're hitting the golf ball, it's not going to go and launch as high as your irons would be, for example, since they have more loft on it. So one thing that we want to do is we want to look at the ball position and how our body is positioned in order to be able to make that strike upward into the golf ball. So when we talk about ball position with the driver, we talk about it being on our lead foot. So we want it to be more off of our inside of our lead foot or even up in front of our lead foot. And that's going to help us get that trajectory and that ascending angle into the golf ball to hit it up in the air. So keeping the ball in the front of your stance is important. And then secondly, also going on with the fact that we want to hit up on the golf ball, we also want to create a little bit of a shoulder tilt. Our feet are going to remain shoulder width apart. Some people even go a little bit wider, but that's okay. Shoulder width apart is probably the standard of what you want to do. So shoulder width apart, ball in the front part of our stance or on our lead foot, off of our lead foot. When we make our setup, our hands are going to be situated inside of our left thigh. So if our hands are too far back, that's not good. If our hands are too far forward, that's also not good. So we would like to see that the hand position off of our inside left thigh here. So, front of my stance, we want to create a little bit of a shoulder tilt when we set up to it. And the reason for that is because we want to hit up on it and have that ascending angle coming through. When we make that strike, we remain in our posture as best that we can, and we swing upward on the golf ball, rotating our hips and not sliding one way or the other. So, let me show you a swing. So, as you can see, if everything is executed properly, you should have a good result. Happy practicing.